Full.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, good morning to everyone, and I'll try to summarize my journey of UPSC in a few words, in few minutes, and then if you guys have some questions, then we can sort that out. After 12th, I went to Kota, as many of the students go there for the preparation of IIT. I went there, I did my coaching, I spent 1.5 years there, but still I was not able to crack that exam. Not only the IITs, I tried for other exams also, but I was not able to crack any of them. So ultimately, I took admission in one of the private college in Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. So, is everyone able to understand what I am saying, or is Ravi Bhai helping me out in translating?
Yeah, we are getting your voice, and please do write whatever you feel. If you are able to understand, write it. If you have any queries like the voice is fast, the language is fast, you can ask, no problem.
I will try to speak in very basic English, so hopefully everyone will understand it. So after going in the graduation in private college, I thought of starting preparation for this UPSC. You can see the book on the background also. Decode UPSC is the name of the book. So I started preparing for UPSC in third year. I was having no guidance. I was having no books, no study material, nothing with me. But still, from the magazines and library and watching YouTube videos, I tried to prepare for UPSC in third and fourth year of my engineering. But it was not enough. So I decided to go to Delhi for further preparation. But when I went to Delhi, I realized that there are many coaching institutions, and I was not able to decide that where should I go. And also, going to Delhi is kind of a myth. Not everyone needs to go to Delhi to prepare for UPSC. But since I went there, I started preparing myself for the UPSC. I took 1 year to prepare for UPSC, and in 2015, I gave the exam. I got selected in pre, I prepared for mains. I got selected in mains, then I prepared for interview. And I had very good mains, but due to overconfidence, the interview was not that well. I did not go that well. And ultimately, I landed up with 133 rank. So in general category and with 133 rank and my preferences, I got the service of IPS and the cadre of Madhya Pradesh. After getting selected into the service, we have this foundation course training in Mussoorie. You all must have heard of the academy in Mussoorie, which is dream of everyone. So I went there with the other selected candidates, and we did 100 days training there. After that, all the service officers go to their respective academies. So, for example, IAS guys stay there in Mussoorie itself. IPS guys go to Hyderabad. Foreign service guys go to Delhi. IRS IT go to Nagpur, and so on. So I went to Hyderabad for my further specific training related to IPS service. We did our training there for 10 months. So the limited exposure I have of the Andhra and Telangana side is that of Hyderabad only. We had our jungle attachment in the jungles of Nalgonda, where earlier there was problem of Naxals, but now due to the greyhounds and good work done by the state police and the armed forces, it has been demolished. So we had our training there also. And we have been to the famous we have been to many police stations in Hyderabad and the nearby area to get the feel of how the police works. And after that, I came to my cadre, which is Madhya Pradesh. I served there in Gwalior and then in Indore, Jabalpur, and right now I am in Bhopal, serving with the Honorable Governor of Madhya Pradesh as the ADC to the Governor. So I have been writing on internet since 2016, and I got very good views on that, and I will not claim that, but still many selected students have also studied the material which I have written on the net. So last year I tried to compile all the material and get into the book. So this is the book which you can see that also. All the basic questions, when to start, how to select the optional, how to remain motivated, how to plan our timetable, how to not distract from the failures in the life, especially during the UPSC preparation, how to prepare for mains, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, essay, and what is the life afterwards. How do selected candidates feel? How is the service in IPS? How does the academy looks? All the experiences which I had in Mussoorie and Hyderabad Academy, all I have tried to cover up in this book. And this is around 400 pages book, which hopefully will give you all the idea of how to prepare for UPSC and how can we decode the UPSC. No one can exactly claim that how to decode UPSC, but it's like my take. How I tried to decode it and got selected is what I have written in this book. So this is my basic introduction. Now moving forward, if you guys have any questions or you want to ask me something, anything, how to prepare or how's the life afterwards in the academy or in the field, how we deal with the pressure and everything. If you guys want to ask anything, you are welcome. If you want me to read some of the excerpts from the book, that what I have written in it, I can do that also. So whatever are your queries, you are welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Fine. Yeah. Any questions? What is your book list, sir? You can actually, मेरी book में కొంటే మీకు you can find all the techniques, the basics information. అంటే మీకు ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఎలా స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఎప్పుడు ఎటువంటి డెసిషన్ తీసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ లో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏంటి, ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఉంటాయి. సో Agam, here they are asking what are the books, basic books we have to follow for civil services preparation before starting coaching or whatever that.
Yeah, so I think Ravi Bhai might have already told you, and he's very expert. Let me tell you, he's very expert on the UPSC and how to prepare for it. We have known each other for like last 6 to 7 years now. Yeah. So we have met earlier, and so I know him that he's doing very well with how to get experience on the line in the line. So regarding the book list, before you start preparing, I have 2 things for you. First, try to get the NCRTs of 6 to 12. I don't know what you prefer there in that side, I mean Andhra and Telangana, but here we try to go through the books of NCRT from 6 to 12, especially for history and geography. You want to add something, Ravi?
Exactly. Yeah, we have here also we follow NCRT only.
Yeah, and secondly, try to get basic reading of the newspapers, not just the front page and the sports page, but how the editorials are been written, how and what we have to read, and what are the policies and the different matters which are going on in and around the world. So these are the 2 things. Before you start preparing, if you can go through it, it will be a smoother ride for you all throughout.
Yeah. Fine. So do we have the book list in the book?
Yeah, the book list which I preferred during my time, I have shared that in the book. Also regarding the optional, I have shared the book list. The optional I had was of history. So regarding history, I have written everything.
Yeah, and what about the cost of this book? I think I don't know, in Amazon it is 250 or 300.
Yeah, it is the MRP is 395, but these days discount is going on and it varies. So someday you might find it of 230, and someday it is around 250. And also, if you will look at Flipkart, it is around 200 something, I guess. So it varies from 200 to 250.
It is more cheaper.
Yeah. So it's from 200 to 250 something.
Yeah. So anyone can buy it from Amazon and Flipkart. If you don't have any option there, you can consult our office. We'll provide the book. Just courier charge okate extra untundi. Otherwise, whenever you come to Hyderabad, you can buy from our office also. Mana office nundi kuda meeru konukovachu andi ee book ni. If you can't buy it on Amazon or Flipkart, otherwise you can directly buy it on Amazon. Okay. So but meeku oka IAS IPS adhikari first time service kotti tana yokka anubhavalani he shared into a small book, simple book. Okkasari chadivaka meeru preparation start cheyandi. Okay, before starting your preparation, read this book. It is not to read after your preparation. Preparation అయిపోయిన తర్వాత after your preparation, I wasted all my 3 attempts, then I start reading this. It may not be useful after that, after wasting your 3-4 years. So before starting your preparation, better take this book, and it will be like a Google map, like a one kind of meeku guide, mentor laga untundi meeto paatu. A must readable book for civil services aspirants. And any doubts, please? Sir, how is your experience while you are going through interview? What kind of questions you faced? Do you remember?
So I have written everything, the whole transcript of the interview in the book. So my interview was not as per what I planned. My graduation was in engineering, and I was very dumb in engineering. I knew nothing about engineering, and I thought that they will ask me about my city, about my optional, about how I prepared for the exam, and what I want to do after I become the IAS or IPS or anything in the service. But from start to also one more thing. So there is one option that you can give interview either in English or Hindi, or maybe in the regional languages also. So I preferred Hindi because my English was not that good during that time. So I preferred Hindi. But my whole interview went exactly on the line of engineering. So I have shared it. It is covered in the 10 to 15 pages in the book, that how my interview went and what are the lessons which you can take from my interview. I could have easily gotten 170 to 180 marks out of 275, but I got 140 only. So I will share some of the questions which I got. So the engineering students who are listening to me can relate to it. So they asked me about the difference between LSI and VLSI. Then they asked me about microchip. They asked me that if I have heard about Gagan or not. Have you heard of Gagan? So I was not able to answer it. It was something GPS related, some service which was designed or designed by DRDO, but I have not heard of it. Then they asked me about air traffic control. Then they asked me about all the tough questions which I am telling you. Then they asked me about how can the biometric be used in the administration. What can be the value addition which I can do in the biometric, which is easier, hardware of the software. So these are the questions they asked me. What is the difference between technology and engineering? They asked me this. What is global warming? What are the chemical compounds responsible for it? Where does lead come from? Lead, it comes from the vehicles emission. So they asked me that also. So when I said that it comes from vehicles, they asked me which type of vehicles. Then they asked me about how the ozone layer is depleting. What are the compounds which are responsible for the depletion of ozone layer? What are the oxidizing agents and how it is processed? So you can see that it's totally science and technology related going on. Then they asked me about the communication. What are the physical features of communications? So these are the basic questions, and there is much more which is in the book. So these are kind of the questions which they asked me. Later on, when I went to the academy, I asked other aspirants also, selected guys. They told me that it's not always that they ask you such tough questions. They ask you basic questions, and they ask you from different walk of lives. But unfortunately, it happened with me that somehow all the members were focused on the engineering or the technical related questions. So kind of unfortunate for me, but also a lesson to learn that it might happen with anyone. So better to go prepare on all the fronts.
Yeah. So you have prepared for IAS, but you got IPS. So how did you feel? Did you get disappointed, or how did you adapt it? How you are able to work in the same service? Didn't you try again for IAS?
See, the first thing first, I did not try again. Secondly, we not just prepare for IAS. Initially, we prepare for any of the civil services. So what I was dreaming of is getting my rank in the top 600 or 700. I was not kind of in the view that I should get rank in top 20 only. And after that, once I went into the service, I realized that it's not just one service which is doing justice to the society and doing all the work. It is the combination of all the services and the departments which are doing good. So if you go in the foreign service, recently when the COVID broke out, there was one Vande Bharat mission, if you have heard of it. So Vande Bharat mission was taking all the NRIs back to India during the tough COVID period. So our foreign service batchmates did get chance to do all that stuff. When the Rafale deal was taking place in France, one of my batchmate was the member of the team. So not just IAS. Similarly, I have written one story here also. I would like to narrate that. It's of your state only, Andhra. So one of the police service officer, Satish, is posted there. So when he was posted in Chintapalli, have you heard of that? You surely must have heard of that district.
It's in Chhattisgarh or Telangana? Chintapalli is near Bhadrachalam.
Yeah, Chintapalli is in Andhra, I guess.
Yeah. It's near border to Orissa or Chhattisgarh, maybe. Chintapalli is famous for its Naxal.
Yes,
impact,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So he was posted as ASP in Chintapalli, and in the Naxal affected areas where Naxals were dominating and trying to capture and brainwash the students, he took the 50 students out of there and he took them to the Visakhapatnam. And there, when the Republic Day parade was going on, so he took them there. He get them aware of all the things what happens there, what is zebra crossing, what is the zoo, how the Republic Day works, who is chief minister, who is the governor of the state. And later on, he organized one job fair for them, and 60 of the guys from that particular Naxal affected areas got selected in the different jobs. He also organized Giri Krishak Mitra, which means the friend of mountain farmers. I think you can understand that. Giri Krishak Mitra, for the poor farmers, so that they can cultivate in their lands. So that's how he transformed the whole area and took that area out of the Naxal affection. So, and ultimately, he got for his outstanding contribution in the social work, he got the Scotch Award. So it is not just one service. He was in the police service and he can do good for the society. So you go in any of the service. What I'm trying to say is, you go in any of the service, you get chance to do good and you get chance to do better for the country.
Yeah. Right. And
so this is one of the example. I have shared few stories, such success stories in the book also. One from the Manipur, other from the Madhya Pradesh, UP, Jammu Kashmir, and similarly.
Great. And somebody is asking about communication skills role in civil services examination, prelims, mains, interview.
So the communication is not that much of important until you get to the interview. So if you are introvert, you don't want to go outside, you don't want to talk to different people, you don't want to talk on mobile phone, it works totally fine. It will not create any of the problem in your preparation. It's better to focus on prelims and mains. Ultimately, the interview will come your way. I have seen many people who directly try to prepare for interview or ask different questions about interview, which is genuine because we are preparing, we have different doubts. But what I would suggest is try to focus on prelims and mains, and no communication skill is required for that. If you don't know how to give lecture, if you don't know how to stand in front of people, it will not create any problem for you. So don't think that much about that. I start preparing for prelims and mains. Ultimately, you will get chance, and Ravi and such teachers are there. They will surely help you out with the interview.
Agam, yeah, I remember one thing that when we were roaming in Kumbhalgarh, Chittorgarh, you said that you were in Delhi while preparation. You didn't go out of that Rajendra Nagar for 1 year. Is it
Yes,
true that?
yes. So I went there in August 2014 until 2015. I did not go to for exact 370 days. I remember that for 370 days I did not go anywhere, not to my house, not anywhere in and around to my family's wedding or different relatives' wedding, anywhere. Even on Delhi, even on Diwali, New Year, Holi, Raksha Bandhan, anything. I was there in the room and preparing for UPSC. So it was kind of a goal that I have to give 1 year, and that 1 year should be, like the cream. I should not regret it afterwards that I should have done that or I should have done this. So I gave my 1 year completely for the preparation, nothing else, and hopefully I think it helped me.
Achha, you didn't get any kind of isolation because you didn't come out of your the limited area where your room and your coaching and the same location. So did you feel any kind of negative, like, if you study for 10 hours in our room or in our study halls, we get some kind of frustration or pressure. Did you feel that? How did you overcome that stress?
Yes,
Did you do
so
any meditation?
I used to avoid myself. So I have made my goals that I have to cover 5 chapters today. So if I have achieved that goal today by 8 p.m., so I used to avoid myself by going out and having uh, drink nice juice or something, or having an ice cream or something like that. Or on Sundays, if I have revised my syllabus beforehand, so I used to go out and have one kachori or dokla kind of thing. So these are the small things by which I used to avoid myself. The isolation exactly does not mean that I was away from everything. I had my friends there, good friends, those who were serious aspirants also and were preparing for the exam. I used to take evening walk daily and used to go out and see the people, how people are working and how already privileged I am. There were thela walas, rickshaw walas, sabji walas, jalebi walas, those guys who do not have the basic luxury in their life, which we already have. So I used to think everything that we people are already very privileged, and if we get depressed and anxious after coming to this, then I think we are not doing justice to ourselves. So keeping my mind and heart clean, I tried to prepare. I gave my 100% for the preparation, but I tried not to get indulged in all the anxiety and depression behavior.
So, how many hours did you read per day?
So there is not exactly the quantity which is exactly helpful in the preparation. So I have made in the September 2015, I made the strategy till September 2016. So you can see for one exact year, this has also been shared in the book, that for one exact year, I have made what I will do in November, what I'll do in December, the second week of January, third week of Feb. I have planned everything. So if I have covered my syllabus or the goal for the day, I'll not prepare further. So it is like that. So if it is taking 10 hours, I'll give 10 hours to that. And if it is taking 6 hours, well and good. So for initial period, I used to prepare for around 6 to 7 hours. And during the later part, when the mains were approaching, I prepared for around 10 to 11 hours. But again, what I'm saying is quantity does not matter, quality matters.
Okay, so one question related to optional. Which optional have you chosen and why? You came from engineering background. Why did you choose history? Is there any reason for that?
So I I cannot choose engineering. That was for sure for me because I was not very good in engineering, and I had electronics and communication. So that was sure shot no. So then I had to choose between other subjects. So when I went to Delhi, I asked few guys that what is good. So the first and last answer which I got from everyone was choose the optional which is of interest to you. Don't go that last year this optional got highest marks. Second last year, this optional does not perform well. Don't go with that. UPSC is not like that. The subjects which are not performing in last 5 years might give you good result this year, or the subjects which are performing or subjects which are having low syllabus might give you low marks. So don't go with that. The only criteria is what is the subject which interests you more. So I thought that maybe I can go for history or Hindi. Both are the subjects which are of interest to me. Then, when I have come down to two optionals, I have decided that what are the pros and cons of each of the optional. I thought that with history, I will have to learn more, mug up more the facts of the history and the stories. But with Hindi, I have to go in the literature more. So I thought that both of the subjects are also one of the disadvantage was that like with the maths you can get 10 out of 10, but in history you will never get 10 out of 10. Even if you write best of the answer you will get 7 or 8 out of 10. So this was one of the drawback with the history, but ultimately I thought that since I have very good interest in history and I can learn those things and prepare for history, I do not have very much of that technical and conceptual mindset which is required in geography or maths. So then I went with the history. And again, the selection of optional is not as much required as is after what you select. So the main thing is after the selection, how much effort you put in the optional is what is more required.
Yeah. So that means మీరు ఆప్షన్ ఒకసారి చూస్ చేసుకున్నాక వీళ్ళంతా బెస్ట్ వేలో ట్రై చేయాలి, కానీ మళ్ళీ ఇంకో ఆప్షన్ గురించి ఆలోచించకండి. తీసుకున్నారంటే మాక్సిమం యూ హ్యావ్ టు గెట్ ద టాప్ ర్యాంక్ అన్నట్టుగా ట్రై చేయాలి, అంతేగాని కీప్ ఆన్ చేంజింగ్ ఆప్షన్ అనేది కూడా కరెక్ట్ కాదు. ఓకేనా, ఒక చోట డిగ్ చేసామంటే అక్కడే మాక్సిమం డిగ్ చేస్తే మనకు రిజల్ట్ వస్తుంది, అంతేగాని ప్రతి చోట మార్చుకుంటూ వెళ్ళకూడదు. ఫైన్. యా, ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్ నెక్స్ట్? ప్లీజ్ రైట్ యువర్ డౌట్స్, ఎనీ క్వరీస్. మీ ఏదున్నా అడగండి చక్కగా. we have a nice resource person in front of us, practical, proven, successful personality, కాబట్టి we must utilize this time అండి. Did you prepare your own notes for standard books or did you follow directly the available material in the market? Yeah.
No. See, there are two type of things. Have you heard of Spectrum for Modern India?
Yes. We know the small book, but bulky, a little bit bigger.
Yes. And similarly, have you heard of Lakshmikant for Polity? So these are the books which are already in notes in itself. If you try to copy those books, you will end up copying every word of that book. These are the books of which you cannot make notes of. They are in notes in themselves. So for such books, you don't have to make different notes. You can take pencil and write the specific points in the margin of the book. And when you ultimately revise the book, read those points. But there are few books which are very theoretical and subjective and in very big details, like some of the NCERTs for history and geography, and similarly the other books. So for such books and also for the optional, I made my own notes. I will tell you one thing, making our own notes is one of the very difficult things, but it is very rewarding. If you make your own notes, it will take time, it will take your effort, and it is kind of very much hard work. But if you have made your own notes, it will be very helpful for you in mains, especially mains. Why? Because if you are following the coaching notes or the notes already available in the market, then everybody is following the same notes and everybody will write the same language in the exam. So it is better that you take guidance from the coaching, you take their guidance, and with that guidance you make your own notes. making your own notes, writing with your own hand helps you in preparing better for the answer writing in mains.
Yeah, that's good question. Actually, yeah, generally, students, they keep on note making. They don't see what they are writing. They don't see what the material is available. Sometimes, if the material is available, better go for it. Otherwise, wherever the notes making is compulsory, you have to spend time. Unnecessarily, you should not keep on writing from the author's books. That's the thing here, sir said. And how the question paper will be. Question paper, how the question papers will be every year, it is dynamic. So we can't predict exactly. Only thing is, the best way of predicting the next future question papers are based on your previous questions. Just to read the previous questions and try to understand what kind of questions can be asked. That's it. Otherwise, we can't. ఇది గతంలో ఏం జరిగిందో చూడకుండా ఫ్యూచర్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయలేము. అందుకే మనకి హిస్టరీ కూడా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. యూపీఎస్సీ
there are few subjects which are static, like history, geography, but there are few subjects which are changing every year, like international relations, economics, and current affairs. So for history, geography, sociology, you can definitely look up to the last 10 to 15 years papers. That will definitely help you. I had looked up to last 20 years papers, and one or two questions have come directly from those papers in history and geography sections. But for others, you cannot go and see what has been asked last years, because things have changed, economics and dimensions have changed. So better to prepare from the coachings or the or what I can say is the good people out there in the public who are making different questions and giving it to you.
Yeah, that's right. Fine. Any questions? Any questions, please? Come on. Inka. Done? Okay now? Sir, I don't know maths. I don't know maths, but I want to prepare for civil services. Can I? Sir, they're asking about the role of mathematics. Do we have to know maths that much to clear this exam?
Role of mathematics is very minimal in clearing UPSC. It used to be higher in earlier days, but it is not very much necessary now. It is only required only for the CSET examinations, which is the second paper of prelims. But again, the syllabus of CSET is up to the 10th only. So basic profit loss, basic compound interest, simple interest, percentage, probability, if you know that, that will be enough for clearing that. And also it is just the qualifying exam. No numbers are included in the cutoff. So if you can go up to 70 marks out of 200, it will be beneficial for you.
Yeah. So it is not that much important in deciding your rank. Only for qualifying purpose, you have to know a little bit arithmetic and reasoning. That's in CSAT. That's enough. So your mains and interview marks will decide your rank and service. So there is no mathematics. So
yeah,
not compulsory.
For the final rank, no mathematics is required until unless you are the graduate of mathematics. If you have no background of mathematics, there is no requirement of any of the mathematics. Like I have been graduated in electronics communication, I required no maths until I got selected.
Okay, yeah. Sir, importance of answer writing practice.
It is very important. It is very important. So first thing I would like to tell you when to start answer writing practice.
That's important.
There are few people who start very in the beginning itself, but it is not very useful because you don't know any of the content. What will you write? And there are few people who wait till the end when the mains are approaching to write. Again, that is not very useful because now the mains are approaching. How will you change your tactics? So for answer writing, I have taken around 20 to 25 pages in the book for how to prepare for answer writing, how to increase the speed, how the beginner, how the vocabulary can be increased and so on. But I'll suggest few things from the book only.
Yeah.
For improving the answer writings, first thing is less of an intro and conclusion. Don't write much more introduction and conclusion in the answer. Directly go to the point and try to address that. Second, more of content, less of language. Don't try to fill the answer with is, and the, but try to focus more on the points. If you have 10 points in mind, write dotted 10 points in the answer. Don't think that the language sentence is not completely in the making and language is not exactly proper. That does not matter much. Thirdly, try to better divide the answer. Like if you have 4 points, then try to divide in political, political aspect, social aspect, economical aspect, cultural aspect, spiritual aspect, geographical aspect. If you divide it like that, then invigilator will have the easy understanding of what you want to write. Fourth point is try to prioritize. The point which is of much importance, try to write that first. And there are few points which are of less important. Try to answer that later. What we do is, whatever comes in our mind, we try to write that. Don't do that. Write what is of importance first. And last point is try to improve your handwriting. Handwriting is not very much of importance in the answer writing, but it should not be that bad that invigilator cannot read your answer. So once you try to write your answers, better to focus little bit on answer handwriting also. So this is how you can start. There are few websites which give you daily questions of which you can write the answers. I think Ravi Bhai is also will also give you the questions to write. You write those answers religiously. Write and send that to the coaching, Shanta Lakshmi coaching. Yes. They will assess and give you the exact assessment that what you should improve. That is very important. What happens is we get the questions, but we don't write answers. We wait for the Sundays. We wait for the weekends that we will write answers there. Then you have the pile up of 15 to 20 questions. Then you cannot write the answers. Write 2 or 3 questions, answers daily. If you write 3 answers daily, then it is like 10 minutes of one answer, like 30 minutes. So 3 answers daily means you have written around 90 answers in a month. That is very much of the help.
Yeah, actually we are providing personal mentorship also. Meer evaraina vere ekkada coaching తీసుకున్నా coaching తీసుకోలేకపోయినా, you can join in our personal mentorship program. There we conduct the tests and we assess your answers. మీ answers ని assess చేసి మీకు feedback istam. You can take that support from us. Yeah,
and the assessment of the answers is very important. So if you can take that exam, the course which they are providing, that will be very useful. We try to write the answers, but we do not get the assessment. Then the answer writing is of no use. We should get the assessment after every answer, that what we have written and how can we improve. That is of the use.
Yeah, exactly. So మీరు ఆన్సర్ రాసుకొని వదిలేస్తే కాదు. You have to get the feedback also from an experienced faculty. Then only you get improvement. Otherwise you keep on writing. That's it. You రాస్తూ వెళ్తూ ఉంటారండి. You don't get it anything back. కదా. So improvement ఉండాలంటే you have to identify the or you get appreciation also. If you are writing the best way, you can continue the same way, right? That's a good part. Actually, it decides your rank, because most of our marks are in piled up at mains marks manaku chala important. Interview we don't have any, there is no guarantee of getting the same questions, or what happens in the interview we don't know. So maximum marks we have to score in mains. Daniki ఖచ్చితంగా మీరు ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ చేయాలి. So who inspired you in your life for civil services preparation? Why did you choose this civil services examination?
There exactly was no person who inspired me. But what inspired me was when I was in college, I used to go to a nearby village to teach the underprivileged student there. So what used to happen was, there was one village 3 kilometers away from my hostel where I and my friends used to live. So 2 of us used to go to that village every day during evening. And what we saw was, there was no primary school or other facilities in the village. And when we went there, around 50 to 60 students daily used to attend our class. So during that period, that particular 6 months period inspired me that we should do something which can be of any help to the society. We should go in that particular field where we can contribute much more for the society. And that is how I initially got motivated to prepare for UPSC. The other motivations were, like, it is always been talked about IAS and IPS in the society, parents, relatives, the social status attached to it, the job security, the people with whom you sit, you talk. Everything changes after you get selected in the UPSC examinations. So all these things combined motivated me to prepare for the exam.
Yeah. Yes. So, sir, role of Hindu newspaper.
So not exactly the Hindu newspaper. During our period in 2015-16, the Hindu newspaper was the only newspaper which was providing the quality material. But during that period only, the Indian Express also came up as a very good newspaper, and similarly Live Mint also. So the role of newspaper is very important. I am not saying the name of any particular newspaper. You can go for Indian Express also or the Hindu also, but it is very important because the everyday editorials and the views they are providing is unmatched. If you try to go for monthly magazine, you will not be able to finish it because it is very much of the study material. But if you give 45 minutes to 1 hour every day to the newspaper and do the discussion on that newspaper, I think even Ravi Bhai is also conducting all these newspaper discussions.
Yes, we are conducting.
Yeah. So reading newspaper daily and discussing that is of much use than reading it ultimately in the monthly magazines. So role of the newspaper is very important. The second thing is always try to make notes from the newspaper. Don't just read and throw it in that way. Try to make notes, whether it is online notes or the offline notes, whatever kind of notes, but try to make notes in your copy that what are the important points which can be useful later.
Yes. I think it's done with this
Yes.
questions. Yeah. So, Inka, full details, whatever that you want to know from Agam Jain sir, you can buy this book so that you can get more information. It will be with you completely. Okay. Within just half an hour, 1 hour, he may not be in a position to explain all the strategies, so that he compiled a book. Manaku, we are so fortunate enough, lucky enough to get this type of compilations, because after getting service, they'll be busy, they'll be happy. They won't focus on the to share their experiences. Kada. So Arakanga luckyga he adi oke attempt lo kottesadu. He prepared a nice notes and recollected his all strategies. That's really ayanaku beautiful memories, but for us, they are our lessons, our guide. So, this book you Amazon lo konukovachu, Flipkart lo konukovachu. Otherwise, you can also consult our office. మన office కి వచ్చి కూడా మీరు తీసుకొని వెళ్ళొచ్చు. Okay, then price కూడా ఉంది చూసారుగా 200 250 మధ్యలో ఉంటుంది. You know, one biryani cost. ఒక బిర్యానీ తిన్నంత కాదండి. 200 rupees. But it change your fate. Complete గా civil services అనుకున్న వాళ్ళకి it can definitely change your fate and me life lo me marks perigadaniki. If you get at least 50 marks extra if you read this book, 1 mark is also important. I missed by 2 marks in civil services. 1 mark is important to decide your service and decide your cadre also, rank also. Kabatti if you read this book, if you get at least 50 marks extra also, definitely me total career will be changed. Kabatti, don't miss this opportunity. Veerananta twaraga, before starting your preparation, buy this book. We are not asking to buy from us only, because it is a resourceful book. Better buy from anywhere. Okay. Chalo. Sir, thank you very much. Agam, it's nice to see you again back after so many years. Yes. And all the best for your next upcoming great achievements. We'll be watching, we'll be observing. Will be conveying the same kind of energy to the next generation from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, bye. Fine, chalo. That's great. How is the session? The book name is Decode UPSC. The book name is Decode UPSC. Okay na? ఇక్కడ ఏదో నేను మార్కెటింగ్ ఇలాంటివి కాదు. ఐ డోంట్ డూ ఎనీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్. నాకు నచ్చనివి నేను ఇలాంటివి ఏమి చేయను. చక్కగా మీకు ఉపయోగపడేది మీకు ఇష్టం వచ్చిన చోటు ఉండే కొనుక్కోండి. ఏదో మార్కెటింగ్ చేసి సార్కి ఏదో బెనిఫిట్ ఉంటుంది, నాకేం ఉండదు. బట్ ఆ బుక్ నేను చూశాను కాబట్టి ఎస్, మా ప్రిపరేషన్ ఇప్పుడు నేను షేర్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటే నేను కూడా బుక్ రాయొచ్చు. బట్ సక్సెస్ స్పీక్స్ మోర్ బెటర్ వే కదా. నేను 4 సార్లు ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఫెయిల్ అయ్యాను కాబట్టి నా వర్డ్స్ కి పెద్దగా వాల్యూ ఇస్తారు ఇవ్వరు. కానీ ఇలాంటి సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా సింగిల్ అటెంప్ట్ లో కొట్టిన వాళ్ళ యొక్క వర్డ్స్ కి, వాళ్ళ స్ట్రాటజీస్ కి మనం తెలియకుండానే అట్రాక్ట్ అవుతాం. కాబట్టి మీరు వీరంతా త్వరగా ఈ బుక్ కొనుక్కొని మీ ప్రిపరేషన్ లో భాగం చేసుకోండి. ఓకేనా? రైట్. సో హౌ వాజ్ ద పర్సనాలిటీ? ఎలా ఉన్నాడండి? సో నైస్ కదా. చూసారా ఎలా ఉన్నాడు? యంగ్, జస్ట్ కాలేజ్ స్టూడెంట్ లాగే ఉన్నారు కదా. బట్ హీఈస్ నౌ ఇన్ చార్జ్ ఆఫ్ దట్ మనకు మధ్యప్రదేశ్ గవర్నర్ ఆఫీస్, ఎస్, దాంతో అటాచ్ అయ్యి వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారు. అండ్ ఇట్స్ 2:45 ఇన్ ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్. పూజ ఈస్ సేయింగ్ రిధి గాంధీ విల్ టెల్ యూ దట్ మనకు అగమ్ సార్ కూడా ఫ్రమ్ హిస్టరీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉన్నారండి. కాబట్టి చూడండి, హిస్టరీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ మాక్సిమం మీకు జిఎస్ లో కవర్ అవుద్ది. నేను మళ్ళీ ఒక సెషన్ తీసుకుంటాను, హిస్టరీ ఆప్షన్లు ఎందుకు తీసుకోవాలి, ఎలా తీసుకోవాలి, మొత్తం హిస్టరీ మొత్తాన్ని మీకు ఒక చిన్న ఏమంటారు దాన్ని, డెమో వీడియో లాగా చూపిస్తాను. డెఫినెట్ గా మీకు చాలా బాగుంటుంది. ఏన్షియంట్, మిడివల్, మోడర్న్, జస్ట్ సిలబస్ లో ఏముంటుంది, మనం ఏం చదువుతామని చెప్పేసి చిన్నగా ఒక 5 minutes to 15 minutes లో చూపిస్తాను. సో దాట్ యూ కెన్ ఈజీలీ అండర్స్టాండ్. ఓకే, హిస్టరీ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎంత ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. గుర్తుంచుకోండి, మీరు చేసే పని మీ ఆనందంగా చేస్తే అద్భుతంగా ఉంటుంది, భయపడుతూ బాధపడుతూ చేస్తే అందులో ఫీల్ ఉండదు. సో ద జర్నీ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఈవెన్ ద ప్రిపరేషన్ జర్నీ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో జాయిన్ విత్ అస్. మన దగ్గర మీకు తెలుసు కదా సెషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతున్నాయండి, తెలుసా మీకు? సెషన్స్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి? మన దగ్గర కొత్త బ్యాచ్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది? మీలో ఎంతమంది తెలుసా అండి? ఫైన్. మన దగ్గర బ్యాచ్, కొత్త బ్యాచ్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది? కెన్ ఎనీవన్, ఎవరైనా చెప్పగలరా? ఐ థింక్ యా. మన దగ్గర సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ కి మాస్టర్ క్లాసెస్ మనకు 20th June నుండి స్టార్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి. సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ కి 20th June డైలీ ఈవినింగ్ 5 to 9 అండి. మీరు కాలేజ్కి వెళ్ళొచ్చు, స్కూల్కి వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఇంకెవరు ఏ వర్క్ చేయొచ్చు, మీ ఇష్టం అండి. జాబ్ చేసే వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా కానీ 5 to 9 4 hours ఉంటాయి క్లాసెస్, డైలీ 2 subjects. సో సండేస్ ఎక్స్ట్రా క్లాసెస్ ఉంటాయి. బీ రెడీ ఫర్ దాట్. ఓకేనా? మనం డిసెంబర్, జనవరికే సిలబస్ ఫినిష్ చేయడానికి ఈసారి వీ హ్యావ్ ప్లాన్డ్ ఇట్. ఆ తర్వాత మీకు ప్రిలిమ్స్ కూడా టైం దొరుకుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్, ఎవరికైనా తెలుగు మీడియంలో రాసే వాళ్ళు ఉంటే, లేకపోతే బీటెక్ చేసి కూడా ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు సార్ నాకు కష్టంగా ఉంది అనుకుంటే, యూ కెన్ జాయిన్ ఇన్ అవర్ ఇంగ్లీష్ బ్యాచ్ అండి. ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్కిల్స్. ఇది మనకు June 10th కి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఎల్లుండికి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. నైట్ 8:30, 8 PM to 9:30 అండి. సారీ, నైట్. మీరు ఇందులో జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు ఎవరైనా ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోవాలనుకున్న వాళ్ళు. లేదంటే మనకు ఇంగ్లీష్ బ్యాచ్ ఇంకొకటి మధ్యాహ్నం కూడా ఉంటుంది. యూ కెన్ జాయిన్ ఇన్ దట్ బ్యాచ్ ఆల్సో. కానీ ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోవాలి. అది సివిల్స్ కైనా, గ్రూప్ 1 కైనా, ఎస్ఐ కైనా, గ్రూప్ 2 కైనా. ఇంగ్లీష్ నేర్చుకోకుండా చలో మేనేజ్ చేస్తా, నాకు వచ్చు ఇంగ్లీష్ అనే భ్రమలో ఉండొద్దు. ఓకేనా? ఫేక్ ఎప్పటికైనా డేంజర్ అండి. ఫైన్, చలో. సో 1 minute. Let me. ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ ఎవరండి మన దగ్గర సెషన్ రాబోతున్నది? రవి ఈజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ మీ క్లాస్ ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది? విల్ టెల్ యూ దట్. గుర్తుంచుకోండి, సాయంత్రం 5 నుండి 9 గంటల వరకు మనకి మన సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ బ్యాచెస్ క్లాసెస్ ఉంటాయి. మనకు మధ్యలో IAS IPS ఆఫీసర్లు మనకు గైడ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. స్పెషల్ సెషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ పైన, హ్యాండ్ రైటింగ్ పైన సెషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, అలాగే ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు అనుకున్న వాళ్ళకి ఇంగ్లీష్ కూడా మీరు జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు. ఓకేనా, దానికి డే టైం ఉంటాయి క్లాసెస్, మార్నింగ్ కూడా ఇంకో బ్యాచ్ ఉంటుంది. యూ కెన్ చూస్ ఎనీ బ్యాచ్ ఫర్ ఇంగ్లీష్ కి ఏ బ్యాచ్ అయినా చూస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇంటర్మీడియట్ ఐఏఎస్ అవ్వచ్చా? అవరాదు, నేను బిఏ హిస్టరీ తీసుకున్నాను సార్. ఓకే, మీరు బిఏ హిస్టరీ తీసుకొని ఆప్షనల్ హిస్టరీ తీసుకోండి. మనకు ఆప్షనల్ బ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందండి, అది 20th నుండి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది, తెలుసు కదా. 20th జూన్ నుండి హిస్టరీ ఆప్షనల్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. చరిత్ర బైలింగ్వల్ ఉంటుంది, తెలుగు మీడియం కూడా రాసే వాళ్ళు ఉంటే ద బెస్ట్ వేలో రాయొచ్చండి హిస్టరీ, బైలింగ్వల్ గా ఉంటాయి. టిఎస్పిఎస్సి బ్యాచ్ మనకు ఆల్రెడీ ఉషారాణి గారు ఆల్రెడీ మన దగ్గర గ్రూప్ 1 బ్యాచ్ నడుస్తుంది. ఎవరైనా గ్రూప్ 1 కి జాయిన్ అవుతే కూడా జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఇప్పటికి కూడా గ్రూప్ 1 గ్రూప్ 2 కి జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు అండి, ఇంకా మీకు టైం ఉంది. ఓకేనా, ఆల్రెడీ బ్యాచ్ నడుస్తుంది కాబట్టి మీకు మిస్ అయిన క్లాసెస్ లాస్ట్ లో రిపీట్ అవుతాయి. యూ కెన్ జాయిన్ ఇన్ దిస్ బ్యాచ్. ఇది అలాగే ఉంటుంది, సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్ గా కొత్త బ్యాచ్ లాగా వెళ్తూ ఉంటాయి, ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి టైం లేదు ఇప్పుడు, జస్ట్ విత్ ఇన్ 90 days లో మనం ఫినిష్ చేస్తాం. ఇంకా నెక్స్ట్ రింకు సార్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు జాయిన్ విత్ అస్, రింకు సింగ్ రాహి కదా, అందరు సిద్ధమేనా? రియల్లీ ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారండి సిద్ధంగా? ఎస్ సార్, వి వాంట్ టు సి రింకు సింగ్ రాహి సార్ అనే వాళ్ళు ఉంటే ఎస్ సార్ అని చెప్పి టైప్ చేయండి. Please be energetic and active. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really such a great, wonderful personality. I am really amazing to invite. అసలు అలాంటి పర్సనాలిటీని మనం గైడ్ చేయడము అనేది కూడా నాకు కూడా ఐ ఫీల్ సో ఫార్చునేట్ అండి, అది అదృష్టమే. చాలాసార్లు మనం టీచర్లు స్టూడెంట్ చూసి కూడా గర్వపడుతూ ఉంటారు కదా. Yes, I feel so happy by meeting, by guiding or whatever that. Right, Rinku Singh